They tell you to follow your passion like it's a magic key to happiness, but they never mention that it can steal your health, drain your bank account, even make you hate the thing you once loved. I know, because I almost lost everything chasing mine. Ben, aged 25 and full of energy, sat nervously across from Joe Carter, a retired businessman in his 60s, inside a quiet coffee shop in small-town Riverdale. Ben had come with hope and questions. He wanted to start a creative business, logos, storytelling, branding, and he wanted guidance. Joe had built companies from nothing and survived both boom and bust. Ben expected motivational cliches and step-by-step tips. Instead, Joe offered something deeper, a raw, honest story. "You've heard it a million times, haven't you?" Joe said, stirring his coffee. "Follow your passion." Ben nodded eagerly. Joe's eyes turned serious. "Well, I followed mine, and it nearly broke me." Joe leaned back and stared at the window as if revisiting a darker chapter of his life. "Years ago, I loved design and storytelling, so I started my own creative firm. I believed that would fix everything. But one night, I sat in my car at 2 a.m. in a deserted grocery store parking lot. My bank account showed just $114. Rent was due in a week." Joe paused, letting the weight of that moment fill the air between them. "I had just worked 70 hours for a client who barely paid me. I was running on caffeine and fear. My hands trembled, not from cold, but from shock and dread. I truly thought I had done all the right things, followed my passion, improved my skills, sacrificed time, hustled harder. Yet I was broke, isolated, and desperate. That was the low point, the moment when the romantic version of entrepreneurship shattered and reality rushed in. The worst part," Joe said, leaning forward, "is how the story sold to us is all lies or half-truths. The biggest lie is this: if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. It's nonsense. Passion can become a trap. Without structure, purpose, or a plan, it burns you out. People assume that because you enjoy something, it's supposed to feel easy. Then when it doesn't, they blame themselves. That's how self-doubt and despair creep in." Joe placed his hand on the table. "Inside your head is the first battlefield. Even when I was landing clients, I was tormented by imposter syndrome. I kept waiting for someone to figure out I was a fraud. I questioned every idea, every decision. Burnout followed, an exhaustion deeper than fatigue. The work you loved starts to feel heavy and burdened. Your relationships fray. You lose sleep. You stop wanting to see people because your energy is gone. You isolate yourself just to survive one more day of the grind." He shifted in his seat. "Then there's the financial nightmare. The feast or famine swings are brutal. One month you get a big contract and believe you're winning. The next 2 months, silence. No steady income, no benefits, no paid vacations, no sick leave. If you don't work, you don't get paid. And when you're sick or need rest, it becomes a crisis. The freedom people talk about is half-truth. You are your own boss, but also your own entire operations team. Sales, marketing, accounting, billing. Every failed invoice, every slow sale, it all hits you personally." Joe sighed, as if carrying the weight of all those months. "And here's the cruel twist. The passion you once had becomes tangled with pressure. It stops being just joy and becomes a burden. That dream you built starts to feel like your jailer. Deadlines, client demands, late payments, revisions. It becomes more stress than satisfaction. You're no longer creating for fun or self-fulfillment. You're creating under contract, under expectations, under fear. Passion doesn't teach you how to run a business. It doesn't prepare you to chase invoices or refuse bad deals. I loved creativity, but creativity is only 20%. The rest is business. And unless you master that, your passion will bleed you dry." Ben's eyes were wide now. "So what did you do?" he asked quietly. Joe's expression softened. "That night in the parking lot, I had 2 choices. Give up and go back to a regular job, or stop gambling with emotion and start building an actual structure around my dream. I chose the latter. I decided passion must be guided by strategy. I began to rebuild. I raised my rates. I said no to clients who undervalued me. I got help. I learned marketing, systems, contracts, cash flow. I built a safety net. I turned that dream into something manageable, sustainable. Joe leaned toward Ben, voice firm. Here's what I wish someone told me. And now I tell you. 1. Think of passion as fuel, not a GPS. It powers you but can't steer you. You still need direction, plans, accountability. 2. Don't leap blindly. Build a runway. Start your dream slowly, part-time, while holding something stable until it works. 3. Protect your health. Block rest time. Prioritize relationships. Burnout is not a badge, it's a warning. 4. Find a community. Other creators, entrepreneurs, people who know this world. You need those who understand the struggles, not just cheerleaders. That support saves you more than you think. Joe stood and placed a hand on Ben's shoulder. Listen, Ben. The world doesn't need more young dreamers burning out. It needs people who are passionate and resilient. People who build not just dreams, but lives around them. Passion alone is not enough. You must pair it with skills, structure, and care for your mind and body. That's how you chase a dream without losing yourself. Ben looked down at his notebook. Pages filled with truths that cut and healed. He looked up and nodded. I thought I needed motivation. Turns out I needed the hard truth. Joe smiled gently. Now you're ready. If you found this story helpful, please like and subscribe to stay updated on more honest advice and real talk.